IsReal News. This is the morning briefing for Wednesday, May 20th. Iran's Revolutionary Guard is threatening what it calls a full-scale Middle East war if strikes against Iran resume. The warning comes as Israel and the United States prepare for the possibility of renewed military action following President Donald Trump's latest deadline. Iranian officials say they have not yet used all of their capabilities and warn that future attacks would target locations the enemy does not expect. At the same time, Iran's foreign ministry says Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi may travel to New York in the coming days for talks on international peace and security. According to reports, Israel had expected a renewed strike on Iran today, but President Trump delayed the operation after requests from Gulf leaders. Trump says he was close to authorizing an attack and is now allowing several more days for negotiations. An American defense official says joint preparations with Israel have already been completed. Meanwhile, controversy is growing over video footage released by Israeli National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir, showing detained activists from the Sumud flotilla to Gaza. The videos show activists restrained on the ground inside a detention facility at Ashdod port, while Ben-Gvir waves an Israeli flag and speaks to the camera. Security officials quoted in Israeli media say the videos contradict instructions from the military and foreign ministry to avoid provocations during the flotilla operation and deport the activists quietly. Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni has called for Israel's ambassador to be summoned for a reprimand over the footage. South Korea's president is also condemning Israel's actions, accusing it of unlawfully abducting one of his country's citizens, who was reportedly among those detained aboard the flotilla. Israeli officials say all 430 activists have been transferred to Israeli vessels and will be allowed to meet with consular representatives. In Israeli politics, the Knesset has approved a preliminary bill to dissolve itself, potentially setting the stage for early elections. The measure passed with overwhelming support from both coalition and opposition lawmakers. The political crisis centers on efforts to revive legislation exempting ultra-Orthodox men from military service. While the dissolution process has begun, the timing of any election remains unclear, with disputes continuing over whether voting would take place in September or later in the fall. In business news, Israeli cybersecurity giant Cyera is reportedly acquiring a 5-month-old startup called Genie Security for an estimated $50 million. The startup employs just 5 workers and focuses on protecting information on endpoint devices using artificial intelligence. And in Toronto, police and hundreds of volunteers continue searching for a missing 14-year-old Jewish girl named Esther, last seen late Friday night in a city park. Authorities say there is still no clear indication of what happened, while some in the Jewish community fear the possibility of an abduction. Those are the latest headlines from IsReal News.